about now. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for Thursday, October 19th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card that we are starting our day off with today. Oh my goodness, we've got here our Knight of Pentacles, and we love to see this energy right now. Especially, I need to stress, I don't know if you've noticed, we've been getting a huge amount of sword cards related to the masculine energy recently, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine energy has been in their fields. There's been a point of really wanting to pull forward on some things, and then almost having that opposite feeling of almost uncertainty, because again, there's a need and drive right now of wanting to take action during this eclipse season. We like to see this energy right now coming through with the masculine, because this is almost showing a bit of this leveling off between the eclipses that we really like to see. This is going to feel like a masculine energy getting very practical around some circumstances and situations. Not surprising given what we've been experiencing and seeing in the cards over the last few days. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is in partnership, this is going to feel for the feminine energy and divine union and partnership right now, that feeling of assurance. We've been seeing that the feminine energy in partnership right now has been feeling and experiencing this point of liberation in terms of feeling like they can be their most vulnerable, authentic expression of self with a very protective masculine energy. This is the feminine energy continuing to feel that level or degree of support right now in very tangible, practical ways. Now, for masculine energy in partnership right now, this could be feeling like a bit of an easement as it relates to some of that frustration that you may have been experiencing. I've been identifying or articulating it a bit like a white knuckle feeling, particularly because we see here that for the masculine, there was a desire or need to want to go forward that feminine may have felt like in some intangible way pulled you back from. Either feminine saying like not necessarily taking your advice on something, or effectively saying, I don't think that that approach that you're considering around some circumstances and situations is going to be ideal for us to go forward with. Instead, we see the masculine energy is almost balancing off. It's going to feel like a little bit of a catharsis today as you come forward and look at what you can practically put that energy in. This is going to be the masculine energy taking some of that frustration and finding that relief point in partnership right now by finding that busy work, finding that point of activation. It's going to feel like a little bit of a slowdown right now for the energy that's in partnership right now. But again, for the feminine energy in partnership right now, this is going to feel like stabilizing, secure energy, further affirming the partnership of the divine union. For masculine right now, this is going to be feeling like you finally figured out a practical application to put some of that point of frustration that you may have been feeling over the last few days. Now, for masculine and feminine energy in trying to come into partnership and union right now, this is exactly what we're probably expecting to see. We may have identified a lot of energy moving into separation over the last couple of days, moving back into the separated energies, specifically because feminine energy hit a trigger point. Feminine energy needed to see the masculine. I articulated yesterday, they needed to see the masculine match them at a point of deep vulnerability. If feminine did not see the masculine coming forward and matching them in that vibration, a lot of the feminine energy may have just said, that's a wrap yesterday, moved back into separation, feeling like they have done everything that they could. They've been their most authentic expression of self, and it's effectively them washing their hands of some circumstances and situations. While for masculine right now, in separation, what we really identified was happening that was also a bit of that make or break point yesterday was that masculine energy was observing the trigger point that they may have seen in a feminine energy that was triggered by seeing the masculine energy withdraw from them. And there was a point of observation in terms of masculine asking themselves if the feminine energy could actually acclimate, could actually become an integrated part of the masculine's immediate life right now, or if it was a bridge too far, if it was going to take too much adjustment and correction to have that energy come into alignment. This could have also led to a lot of masculine energy either moving away from the feminine, choosing again not to make those adjustments in their day-to-day life, feeling like there's almost like a bridge too far there, or Masculine hitting a bit of a vacillation point yesterday as it related to weighing their options. We are seeing today that this is the masculine energy coming out of some of that slowdown and actually coming forward in a practical way for the energies trying to come into partnership right now. Feminine, if you're trying to come into partnership right now, you may be seeing this on the part of the masculine. This is that point of relief that is giving you that conscientiousness. But again, for the feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now, there's still a moment or degree of frustration because this could be feeling like very slow, potentially even slower than you may ideally desire. But there is something here that feels like it is more stable than it has been over the last few days. Masculine and feminine energy that are now in separation, this is again the feminine energy moving away, potentially moving away, breaking off. Again, we saw that point of catharsis that feminine was giving themselves, recognizing, again, having some of the unhealed karmic energy rise up within them, maybe even creating some unhealed karmic energy as they separated yesterday, but affirming to themselves that they felt like the reason that the feminine energy was ready to move into an unhealed karmic vibration was due to the fact that the feminine energy effectively felt like they had done everything that they could possibly do to heal a connection. This was either going to feel like the feminine energy going through some of that tower moment, having to re-experience some past traumas and go through them again, or potentially experiencing them in the present as this breakaway occurred. Feminine coming into a point of catharsis with themselves, recognizing, saying to themselves that they felt like they had done everything they could do, and that was allowing that moment or degree of feminine, allowing the opportunity for new offers to come in potentially, specifically because this is what the feminine energy is trying to manifest at this moment in separation. Real, tangible offers, not wordplay, not promises, not things that feel immaterial or spiritual or magical connections with an energy. What can you hold in your hands? That's what feminine energy is saying right now to the masculine in some tangible way, saying like, show me the money, but not like necessarily money, but like show me what you're actually trying to bring to the table. Masculine energy right now in separation. This is again, what did we identify yesterday that was happening for the masculine energy in separation at this time? This is again a masculine energy that was weighing potentially two different alternative pathways. This was a masculine energy recognizing, feeling the connection to a feminine that they want to come into contact with, feeling almost drawn to this energy, but seeing and experiencing a lot of practical hurdles that may require some adjustment in their own life to be able to move back towards that energy. Do you see how now the energy trying to come into partnership and separation are very close right now? This is again, that is the moment that we see that this is the shedding point. This is either the masculine energy putting in that offer to that feminine, recognizing, being able to make a point of adjustment, even potentially having to say to the feminine energy, this is going to feel slow because there's something about this having to integrate into their life that is going to require some points of recorrection or reconnection or adjustment. But that's why this feels like an actual offer if the masculine's coming forward in this way, trying to come out of separation at this time, because this is them effectively recognizing and putting forth to the feminine what feels like a potential tangible offer. If the energy is still in separation right now, this is potentially the other side of that coin that we saw. This was the masculine energy that decided that this was the bridge too far, that something about that energy that they long to move towards right now, there's too many practical hurdles at play. Either practical hurdles that are around the masculine at this moment, maybe even other connections that would need to be shed or adjusted or accommodated to make room for this energy again, or practical hurdles around the feminine that they're trying to move towards right now that is creating this moment of masculine turning their attention to new opportunities, new experiences, new energetic connections. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Second card in our 5-card spread falling out of the deck. This card may look familiar because we pulled it several times over the last few days. We've got here the Knight of Cups in its reversal. Why is the masculine energy right now moving into a vibration where they're trying to move into practical physical offers to the feminine right now? We are effectively seeing that this is occurring right now because there's something here where the masculine energy still feels like there is an emotional blockage occurring. Even in partnership right now, there may be a feeling right now that it is hard for the masculine energy to emotionally express how they are feeling right now to the feminine. Why might that be the case? Well, that might be the case right now because, again, do you remember some of that point of frustration that we articulated the other day as it relates to masculine, potentially even communicating in divine union and partnership right now, what they would desire to do, what they would really desire to do versus feminine saying, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Like, please don't. I appreciate that you might want to do that, but please don't do that. Or giving the feminine some like point of action, telling them what they think they should do, and feminine going, I'm not going to do that, but I appreciate that where the sentiment is coming from. This is the masculine, again, trying to potentially even hold back, even in partnership at this time, from how they really feel. Because they know they've articulated it to the feminine. They don't want to drive home a point and be like, this is what I would really like to do. So instead, they're coming forward right now and just trying to offer tangible support. Feminine, you could be experiencing this right now in partnership. You may be feeling like the masculine energy. And I will point out, it may feel a lot like right now for the masculine energy, feminine energy in partnership, that there may be something that feels like a bit of a separation point in terms of feeling emotionally connected to the masculine right now. But that's because the masculine energy is literally trying to channel some of that frustration into things that they can practically do right now so that they don't need to feel some of this emotionality that they're feeling around some circumstances or situations that like they don't even want to deal with right now. They just kind of like want to almost like forget about them. They're like, I don't want to think about those things. I'm going to put this in practical spaces and places. Now, masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership. This is, again, we may have seen a lot of energy separating over the last 2 days. And this is effectively why. Because, again, feminine is experiencing a moment right now as it relates to the energy that is in partnership, where it's either make or break. That this is that moment right now that we saw that the feminine energy was extremely vulnerable and open potentially yesterday to masculine if trying to come into partnership. There may have been an overcorrection point that the feminine was even coming into right now as it relates to some trigger point that they hit a couple of days ago. This may have felt communicated as a feminine energy apologizing or potentially overly explaining something to help the masculine energy truly understand how they feel. Feminine energy at this point of vulnerability cannot be left hanging. This is why for a lot of the feminine energy, if they did not see the masculine energy matching them in that capacity of vulnerability, this may have been the feminine energy yesterday saying, I am done. Even if it creates an unhealed karmic connection, I am done with this, moving back into separation. Feminine energy that is effectively in this moment right now, this is that point of observation that you are now seeing with the masculine. This is a moment, and this is what's going to feel very difficult, because what is potentially happening right now that may need to create a point of correction, even for the energy that is getting something from the masculine right now. As I said, this is a feminine that is looking for the masculine now to match them in the emotional vulnerability that the feminine expressed in terms of articulating how they feel. What's masculine offering them right now? Tangibles. But what feminine is also looking for in those tangibles, because this is slow tangibles, this could be feeling like, again, to the feminine, promises. Things that aren't immediately presenting themselves, but promises, assurances. Feminine energy is almost saying, you are distracting from what I'm asking for, which is tell me how you feel. This is the feminine wanting to see the words and the actions matching. Feminine energy is also now looking for the masculine to match the emotional vulnerability that the feminine expressed. And it's almost now going to be, and I hate to say this, you guys are going to like be upset at me, because this is a feminine energy that like previously was saying actions and words, but now this is feminine energy saying, I need to know how you feel. Even if you're coming forward with action right now, I need to understand how you feel, because the feminine energy felt that anxiety of a masculine that isn't showing, like there's a fear that came up in seeing the masculine moving away. And this is, again, the feminine energy potentially articulating to the masculine, wanting to make sure that this isn't just the masculine making promises that isn't behind their heart space. This is the feminine energy saying to the masculine, can you match my own vulnerability? Can you tell me how you feel? Masculine, you may be feeling this right now. And again, for the point of separation for feminine right now, this is that moment that you need to see. You need to see something tangible from this masculine energy, or you're just assuming the masculine energy doesn't care. This is that point of moving back into separation. This is feminine energy returning back into separation, saying, I'm looking for a masculine energy that actually can show me that what they're saying is actually going to be true. Masculine energy trying to come into partnership with feminine right now, this is more of that balancing point, because we still see here that there's something here that feels very deeply triggered to you as it relates to how the feminine energy express themselves. There may have even been a feeling of the feminine energy withholding speaking to you, or utilizing something that they said in a very hurtful way that felt very triggering to you. So even for the masculine right now that's trying to come towards the feminine, there is this point of conciliation that is potentially being reached. The problem is, this is still articulating a masculine energy right now that is feeling very, very guarded in their heart space. There's something here where it's very hard for them to open up in this way, shape, or form, because they're still feeling a lot of anxiety and fear in terms of how the feminine energy will utilize what they give them as it relates to their emotionality at this moment. This is, again, also a masculine energy that is weighing. Again, for some of the masculine energy yesterday, there may have been a point where you decided that while you felt a deep connection to an energy, you were also ready to create an unhealed karmic connection, because something about your own life was not something that you were willing to risk or sacrifice as it relates to letting this feminine energy in further. This is, again, that make or break moment. And again, for some of the masculine energy, the problem right now is this could be feeling like a bit of vacillation. This could be trying to slow something down, potentially even saying to the feminine, let's take more time on something, because you feel some of that uncertainty still as it relates to whether this energy can integrate with your life at the moment, or whether it is safe to have them integrate. Feeling some point or anxiety in terms of some trigger point you saw over the last few days that is creating this sense of pause for you at this moment. The problem is, this is a feminine energy that needs to see this tangible right now, or they are walking away. Masculine, you may be experiencing and feeling this. This is a moment right now that you may be realizing right now as it relates to this energy that there is a bit of a now or never thing here. That if you don't come forward in this way, you might not necessarily have an opportunity to again, because this energy is just willing to close the door, as it were. Masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, this is exactly what we're seeing. For a lot of the energy that just came back into separation, this is the feminine energy effectively rejecting a masculine if what they're saying is only coming from a state or space of emotionality. This is potentially, again, almost creating potentially an unhealed karmic connection here, saying, I don't want something that is just expressing how you feel right now. I need to see what that actually looks like. I need to see that I am actually present in your life. I need to see that this is real. Not just how you feel. I need to see that it is real. Feminine energy is effectively closing the door right now on masculine energy that is either not necessarily emotionally expressing how they feel right now, or not tangibly showing them in some way that they are able to come forward in this degree, and turning their attention potentially to new opportunities. This is a feminine energy that is now almost immediately opening themselves back up to new opportunities after a bit of a space of not wanting anything to do with energy, because feminine energy has effectively said to themselves, I'm not going to try to force a spring as it relates to the masculine energy. Either the masculine, like the feminine, has given themselves a catharsis point around a lot of the closing out of cycles right now. Exactly what we would expect to see between two eclipses with a Libra new moon. The feminine energy is saying, I've done everything I can. I've done everything I can, even as it relates to either past unhealed karmic connections right now, or the ones that are currently happening, which is why they're becoming unhealed. And feminine is saying, I'm leaving myself up to new possibilities and opportunities, because that energy needs to match the energy that the feminine energy put forth in them being vulnerable in that degree. Masculine energy in separation right now, this is that conflict point we're seeing, because we are identifying right now for a lot of the masculine energy that is in separation right now, one of two different modalities. We are either seeing right now a masculine energy that is looking towards a feminine that they want to move towards right now, but they are feeling all of the practical hurdles. Something has come between the masculine energy, their desire to come towards this feminine that is gravitating, that is that object of desire for them. There's either something about feeling like there's something around that feminine's own social circumstances and situation that feel like they're blocking them, or there's something about the masculine energy around them. Heavily more on the latter, because a lot of those cards were around the masculine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine energy is recognizing right now that something that they want to go towards is going to require some potential recalibration of their present circumstances and situations. And this is that moment that either half the masculine energy in separation right now is committing themselves to making those changes, coming forth to give an offer to feminine energy if in separation, trying to come back into partnership, or if this is something the masculine energy is feeling is a bridge too far. If there's something here that feels like it is unfixable, or that it is too much of a fix for the masculine, there's too much that they would have to accommodate and adjust for to be able to come back into connection with that energy right now, that is effectively the masculine turning their attention to potentially new opportunities as it relates to the feminine. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is conflict. I'm not surprised to see it. We've got here our 7 of Swords. Masculine and feminine energy right now in partnership. Again, this is going to feel like a bit of a unified front. Masculine is trying to put practical effort right now in spaces or places that they're feeling a little bit frustrated or emotionally blocked. This is almost a way that the masculine energy is combating some of this feeling. This is giving a lot of energy right now for the energy that is in partnership at this moment, in terms of like masculine energy almost avoiding some feelings right now by putting that effort and energy into practical spaces and places, not wanting to confront something right now, not wanting to emotionally deal with something. Masculine is going to have a lot to do with the fact that, again, there's something that you are feeling a lot of frustration on because you want to take a very decisive point of action right now, and you're feeling like the feminine energy either does not want you to take that point of action or is disagreeing with you as it relates to taking that for themselves at this time. And this is masculine effectively fighting back on that emotional blockage by finding the practical spaces and places to get their mind off of it at this time. Feminine, this could be creating a little bit of a feeling of frustration for you right now as it relates to partnership, because again, you are actually in this space or place where you are also trying to maintain a point of vulnerability. We've seen you in that point of vulnerability over the last few days. This is a moment that you're really, again, and we also identified for the feminine energy that is in partnership right now, there's a lot of concentration being paid to practical matters and practical concerns. This is also the feminine energy putting a lot of practical energy and effort right now into practical matters and feeling like it's a bit of an uphill battle. But feeling the support of the masculine doing same right now. The problem is it's not leaving a lot of opportunities for you guys to have these emotional connections right now because you're both so concerned and putting your concentration in the practical spaces. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership at this time. What we are effectively identifying at this moment is this is that point that we are seeing whether the masculine energy can effectively push forward in terms of something or if they're pushing away. Feminine energy that is in trying to come into partnership with masculine has effectively felt like they've done everything that they could possibly do. There's something here with the feminine energy coming to a point of deep vulnerability over the last few days. This is a feminine energy that's effectively ready to wash their hands of any unhealed karmic energy that is not showing a tangible way of matching them to the level and degree that they are putting forth to masculine right now. Because feminine energy is now feeling like this is becoming a point of struggle. That this is now a point where the feminine energy feels like they have opened up. They did this for the masculine. They gave them this gift, potentially even accommodating and accounting for something where they feel like they misspoke or they feel like there was some kind of blockage that made the masculine energy move away from them. This was the feminine that basically feels like they completely revealed themselves to the masculine over the last couple of days. And this is a feminine energy that is now fighting for their own integrity. There's a moment right now where the feminine energy is effectively recognizing and identifying the difference between feeling like they're being open and honest and having that being appreciated, having that being truly seen and evidenced by the masculine and matched in kind, versus the feminine energy coming forward in that degree and feeling like the masculine energy isn't matching them in that, but if anything is putting up a bit more of a wall or more of a struggle point. This is a feminine energy that now is almost feeling reactionary and almost, again, I warned that this would happen. A feminine energy saying, I'm done. I've done everything I can do. There's nothing else I can do. And if that's where you're going to stand, then this is where I'm going to stand. So this is almost the feminine energy taking a stand right now towards a masculine and saying, I need to see you do this right now. Or not. And the worst part about this right now, and I need to stress, this could even be creating a point right now for the feminine where there could be a little bit of triggering that's happening. It's not surprising because, again, we saw the feminine feel like they completely put their guard down to allow the masculine in. And now the wall is coming up because if the masculine isn't meeting them at that point, the feminine saying, no. Masculine energy right now, this is that point of conflict that we're effectively seeing as it relates to whether you're becoming into partnership right now. Because specifically for the masculine, there was something that you saw in the reaction point of the feminine over the last few days that may have given you pause. It pulled you away. It made you have a point of concern. You may even be assessing right now if you feel like the feminine energy is in a place or space where they will mesh well with your own life or circumstances right now. There may even be a point of accommodation that you're questioning as it relates to what you may need to alter or adapt to allow that feminine energy to come into your life at this point. This is, again, either the masculine energy trying to come into partnership right now, recognizing, and this is the problem, this is a masculine energy that's still vacillating a bit because, again, there's some anxiety here. So even if the masculine's coming forward to the feminine right now, this could be feeling like a very slow approach. This could almost be, again, not necessarily meeting the feminine exactly where they desire you to meet them, but almost like providing them what you can provide in like your own timeline. It could be feeling a bit slower. You could even be identifying that you're slowing something down for the feminine right now, and you're almost expecting and waiting and anticipating the fact that there may be a bit more of a reaction point here. For the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is, again, more of that feeling of a bridge too far. And I need to stress for the masculine energy also trying to come into partnership right now, this could also be creating a bit of reactivity right now because there's something here about potentially misidentifying the feminine energy that was vulnerable to you and instead seeing it as a call to arms. This is potentially a feminine energy that was trying to open themselves up and express it. But there may be something here for some of the masculine where, again, it's not something about their expression of something didn't effectively land the way that it was supposed to. It may have hurt your feelings. And this is that moment that, again, you are struggling as to whether there's something that you want to put forward to the feminine right now, or if you're still nursing some of these wounds. So again, a lot of volatility still for the energy trying to come into partnership. Now, masculine and feminine energy in separation, and we do see that there's probably a lot of energy right now that's just come into separation. This is that reaffirmation on the separation cycle, particularly for the feminine right now. For the feminine energy, this is exactly almost the feminine energy fighting back against themselves from coming back into connection with some energy that they are in separation with. Why? Because the feminine energy feels like they have done all that they can do. The feminine energy, as I articulated, feels like they have done everything that they can do. And this is the moment that the feminine feels that to push further beyond this point, without the masculine energy giving back in kind, without the masculine energy coming towards the feminine, meeting them at the same level of vulnerability, this is a feeling of feminine feeling like they would have to push against their own integrity. They would have to like move into a space or place where it wouldn't necessarily even feel like vulnerability. It would feel like they have to push against their own boundaries. It would push against something that they feel like their own integrity would come into question, trying to push towards a masculine in this way. And feminine's effectively saying, absolutely not. That's a bridge too far. That's why the feminine energy in separation right now is reaching that point of catharsis and instead potentially turning their attention to new opportunities with new masculine energy that they feel is actually offering them something tangible that they can actually see. Rejecting and moving away from masculine energy that they are now feeling is intentionally withholding the same level of emotional vulnerability that the feminine has expressed to the masculine. Masculine energy in separation right now we are effectively identifying right now that for you at this moment, this is that moment that you are seeing, that you are recognizing and identifying that this is that moment of make or break. That this has to do with the fact that for the masculine energy right now that wants to move towards the feminine, there could be something that feels very painful about this. This is almost creating unhealed karmic energy at this time, because there may be something right now that, again, you're either trying to figure out whether you can go forward towards the feminine energy, making these accommodation points, going through some of these difficulties, these hurdles, not being sure if your emotional offer will be accepted, given the fact that there's something about the timing or the circumstances and situations around something being less than ideal. Or this is a masculine energy effectively phoning it in to a certain extent. This is masculine energy not going in the direction of where their heart space is, going towards new feminine energy, because you're also nursing the hurt of not necessarily feeling like you can come into a place of emotional availability to the energy that you desire to come towards. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Fourth card in our 5-card spread is, we have here, if this looks familiar, it's because we've been pulling it. We've gotten a lot of reverse sword cards right now. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now. Again, this is more of that feeling of disempowerment that the masculine was potentially feeling as it relates to what they would really like to do right now versus what the feminine wants to do. And this is that point of like masculine trying to find different places and spaces to put their attention right now, because there's something here where they feel disempowered on. They're trying to not look at it. They're trying not to avoid it. They're almost trying to distract themselves from feeling this at this time. Feminine, this is, again, you are potentially so concentrated right now on the practical space that, again, you may not even notice the fact that the masculine that is also working in this like practical capacity is actually doing it right now to help mitigate something that they're potentially feeling, which may also feel like a point that the masculine energy feels a little emotionally disengaged from you right now as you keep your time and attention towards these practical matters. Masculine and feminine right now trying to come into partnership. This is, again, that make or break. This is it. And this is a problem right now. The feminine energy needs to see this tangible from masculine. Feminine energy feels like they've done everything that they can do. And this is that moment the feminine energy is effectively saying, it's your turn. I've opened myself up. I was completely vulnerable. You need to show me that you are not going to hide your emotions from me, because the problem with the masculine energy right now, if they're not being emotionally open and expressive and showing it with tangible offers to the feminine right now, feminine's looking at the masculine energy and saying, you're showing a lack of confidence. You're showing a lack of integrity. You're maybe even potentially, this could be a feminine energy looking at the masculine energy and almost saying to them, what are you afraid of? You are too afraid. And this is the feminine energy saying, I can't help you with that. I need you to be in a brave space to be able to come into divine union and partnership. Masculine trying to come into partnership right now, this is you effectively potentially vacillating right now. Again, more of that uncertainty. You are potentially trying to figure out how to come forward at this time. The problem is it feels like such a struggle and hurdle at this moment because, again, there's something about some practical concerns that have risen up as it relates to some of the reactivity that you saw in the feminine in terms of it aligning with your own life right now, that is now creating a point where you are struggling within yourself to ask yourself whether you want to come forward to feminine in this capacity, while also realizing and recognizing that time is up. There's something here that feels like you understand and recognize that if you don't come forward now in this way, you might lose your opportunity indefinitely, right? Heavy eclipse energy. Masculine and feminine energy in separation. This is feminine energy more affirming to themselves. The feminine energy is literally, and I need to stress, this has been some heavy energy for the feminine. This may even be situations in the present triggering some unhealed karmic energy from the past as well. This is feminine energy pushing off on all the unhealed karmic energy right now, whether it is new or whether it is old. Effectively saying to themselves, absolutely not. I'm not going to objectify myself. I'm not going to push past my own integrity to come towards energy that is showing me in some way, shape, or form that they either lack the confidence to come forward or the emotional capacity. This is instead feminine energy turning their manifestation towards only the energy that is showing them tangible offers that is coming towards the feminine at this time. Masculine in separation at this time, this is going to feel like very, very heavy energy. Because what we're effectively seeing is this is masculine. You are struggling against yourself at this point. There's something here that is feeling like a deep internal struggle, and it relates to where you want to put your attention right now. There's potentially, again, we identified yesterday something that you may want to move towards right now, but there's a lot of practical hurdles stopping you. There may even be some anxiety as it relates to the effect or impact it'll have on your life to move towards what you desire at this time. And this is that moment that you're battling yourself to try to determine whether you want to move again in the space or place of opening up about how you truly feel, or if it's too terrifying, or if it's too scary, or if there's something here that you want to run away from. This is going to feel like a little bit of fight or flight right now for the masculine energy and separation as you try to struggle with what you want to start to move with intention towards at this time. Final card in our 5-card spread before we start getting clarification on these cards right now is... wow. Okay, we love to see this right now. If this card looks familiar, we've been seeing this card a lot. This is, again, what have we been seeing that's really beautiful with the feminine energy right now? Feminine energy, we have been seeing over the last few days the Star card, and now we've got the Empress coming up. This is feminine energy standing in their power. For energy right now that is in partnership, the reason the partnership is working so well is, again, even seeing the fact that the masculine energy is at a point of some feelings of emotional blockage right now, potentially even doubts or fears rising up. This is not disempowering the feminine energy right now in partnership, because this is a masculine energy that even through moments of weakness, come towards the feminine with stability and security. It is sacrosanct. This is the fact that the feminine is moving right now and staying in committed partnership with, because there's almost something that the feminine recognizes that feels empowered, that says, regardless of how the masculine energy is feeling in the moment, they are always consistent. They are always there. They always show up. And this is what is creating the firmness and the stability in the divine union and partnership. Masculine, this is also something that is happening in the divine union and partnership that is so empowering to you as well. Because again, this is a moment that regardless of any kind of struggle that you need to go through right now, you are almost feeling empowered by a feminine energy that, again, always shows you love, always shows you tenderness, always is able to meet you where you are with love and compassion, even when you're having moments that you feel like you are feeling less than emotionally available or less than confident. This is what is also, again, we've got the battery happening. They are energizing each other, right? They're giving back to one another, and it is empowering the divine union energy to continue to focus on what you're trying to build together. Masculine and feminine energy right now, trying to come into partnership, this is again that make or break moment, because what do we see that is blocking these two energies? This is feminine energy that is now feeling the confidence and feeling, again, feminine energy was vulnerable to masculine. Feminine energy was vulnerable to masculine over the last few days, even potentially through a trigger point. And this is a feminine energy that is, again, not letting themselves challenge their own integrity, but standing in their power and saying, I've done everything I can. I've shown you my love in every way I can. I've done everything I can. I am here. You just need to meet me. And the feminine energy is saying, but standing in their Empress, the Empress is not going to tolerate energy that does not come correct, that is not showing the ability to be confident through difficult situations. An energy that effectively runs, instead of running towards something, runs away from difficulties, or a masculine energy that isn't showing emotional availability. Feminine energy is not chasing. Feminine energy is feeling like they've done everything they need to do by being as vulnerable to the masculine as possible. And this is why the feminine energy is at a moment right now where they're looking at the masculine and saying, are you coming forward or are you not? Because if not, I will go somewhere else. I will find that opportunity or offer elsewhere, regardless of how I feel for you. Feminine energy is calling back their power. Masculine energy right now, if you're trying to come into partnership, this is also that make or break moment, because you are looking at the feminine energy. You are seeing them as your heart's desire, but there are concessions. There are changes that need to occur in your own life. This is where the energy that is trying to come into partnership right now is now blending with the separated masculine energy. They're pretty much in the same modality, because this is the masculine focusing on this energy and saying, this is what I desire. But it's going to take some work. It may even take some deep changes in your own life right now. It's creating a state or space of anxiety, of uncertainty. And also it's making it very hard for you to emotionally express yourself because of some of those anxieties of how difficult and how many changes are going to have to be adjusted here. And this is that moment that, again, the masculine energy is either making that choice to come into partnership, recognizing that it's kind of a now or never moment, or This is a masculine energy that's moving back into separation and bringing that offer elsewhere. The problem with this is a masculine energy that's moving very slowly right now. And this could be a moment that the masculine recognizes that this is a feminine energy that is not inclined to wait. This is potentially even a feminine energy that doesn't need to wait. Masculine and feminine energy in separation right now. This is beautiful energy. This is what we wanted to see the feminine coming into right now if you're in separation, because the last few days have been very challenging and very triggering for the feminine energy in separation. A lot of unhealed karmic energy coming to the forefront that was making the feminine energy feel very vulnerable. But for the feminine energy that has been feeling very vulnerable in separation, this is now coming forward like that flower jumping out of the earth. Because what we're really seeing is happening here is this point that you've reached with yourself, that again, you're ready to wash your hands. Because this analysis that you may have been spending over the last few days, either related to past unhealed karmic connections or the new unhealed karmic connections that may be forming, coming into separation. This is that moment that you're giving yourself the concession and saying, I was vulnerable. I moved from my heart space. I did everything I could do. I am washing my hands. I am standing in my power. I am not going to objectify myself, chasing after an energy that cannot meet me. I will instead wait for the new offers and opportunities to come to me, and potentially even leaving yourself open and available to them right now. Masculine energy in separation. This is going to feel a lot like the partnered energy, the energy trying to come into partnership right now. These are effectively the same, because what we're seeing here is, again, a masculine energy. Your focus is on heart's desire right now. We've had star and heart's desire here. Your focus right now is focused on what you want. The question right now and the hurdle that you've been going through right now with the unhealed karmic connection is the blockages in your own life and in your own self that may be preventing you from being able to come forward to the feminine in this fashion and degree that you desire at this moment. And again, this is that moment that either you are effectively trying to make that path, you are trying to forge through your own sense of self to be able to have the confidence to bring forward this offer to feminine right now, or this is this moment where you're effectively like literally trying to turn your back on a feminine that is hard to turn their back on because you're trying to distract yourself and put that offer somewhere else. The problem is this is even going to feel like a struggle for you at this moment because it's not where your heart lies. It's not where your heart lies. It's not what you truly desire to do at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our King of Pentacles in combination with our Knight of Cups in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Wow, commitment, commitment, commitment. This is it, man. This is like make or break moment. This is like, again, we've seen a lot of, I need to stress this, we've seen a lot of energy moving into separation over the last week or so. This could be a moment where we're potentially seeing a lot of energy coming forward as it relates to commitment. Makes a little sense. We're moving away from some of that heavy eclipse energy. We're almost like hitting that eye of the storm, if you will, between the eclipses right now. And this is a moment, masculine energy in feminine energy, in partnership. This is the fortification of the union. This is masculine energy coming forward right now. And it's almost like building a deeper sense of commitment in the partnered energies. Whatever's going on right now, if there's a struggle point, there's something in the divine unions right now that is re-encouraging each other. Not because something is difficult, but not despite something. It's not for the sake of something being difficult, but it is for the fact that there's difficulties and hurdles that you're managing together that is reinforcing the partnership energy. Masculine and feminine are seeing this right now. Masculine appreciates the fact that they feel like they can not necessarily have to be always on for the feminine right now, but it's almost creating this like battery effect where it's like there's this feeling of kind of continual re-encouragement and enforcement. When one person is lacking, the other one steps in, i.e. reaffirming the commitment. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now. This is that make or break. Feminine, a lot of energy probably separated yesterday, potentially separated. Feminine energy is washing their hands. Feminine energy is saying, I have done all I can do. Even if it creates an unhealed karmic connection, I've done. I'm not pushing forward on this. This is now your time to come towards me or not at all. And again, the problem with the feminine right now is the feminine may be seeing a masculine energy that's vacillating. This could be a feminine energy that is literally watching the masculine energy vacillate in this modality, and they are effectively seeing and they're trying to identify if there is an actual commitment here, if there is a possibility of commitment, even if there is something here about the promise or the potentiality. Something needs to come forward right now to articulate the desire for commitment at this moment. Or if not, feminine is saying, I'm done. I'm done. I need to see something tangible. I need to see some expression of the tangibility of this. Or feminine energy is going to go look for that commitment elsewhere, because feminine energy right now, trying to come into partnership, is saying, regardless of how I feel about you, I'm not going to sacrifice the level or degree of commitment that I feel I deserve for the sake of my feelings. I need to see that you can match, recognizing what I truly am, because the feminine energy is identifying their value right now. Masculine energy right now, you could be seeing this on the part of the feminine, that this is a feminine that is not necessarily chasing after you right now, that feels to a certain extent that they've left themselves vulnerable and open to you. The ball is in your court. And this is that moment for the masculine that may be feeling like a point of vacillation, because again, there is the anxiety, the need to come forward right now, versus your own anxiety in doing so. You are weighing and balancing this right now to ask yourself, are you ready to move into that point of commitment? Potentially identifying and articulating and recognizing that if you do not do it now, you might not have that opportunity again. Masculine and feminine in separation, and some of this energy probably just came into separation. Feminine energy, this is that point of concession that you're giving yourself. Again, there's something here. We saw that tower moment come up. What's happening right now for the feminine that's so important is it's not just bringing up the current issues around partnership, the unhealed karmic energy that may have led to the separation moment. It's almost like making them relive past situations or circumstances that also created similar. A lot of that heaviness coming through as it relates to the feminine having to deal with the unhealed karmic connections. Why is the feminine energy managing it right now better than the masculine is in separation? Because feminine energy feels as looking at those from the optics of looking at the past and saying to themselves, I did everything that I could do. Feminine energy is looking at them and saying, I did everything that I could do. This could have even been the feminine doing everything that they felt they needed to do over the last few days, specifically so they could wash their hands on something, effectively identifying and saying, if I've done everything that I can do, then feminine energy is not going to go another iota further than that, because they're recognizing the limitation in terms of what they're willing to do versus what they need to see from the part of the point of view of the masculine. And this is the feminine either saying, if that energy isn't coming towards me, if that energy isn't showing that ability or degree to match me, then it's okay. Even regardless of how they may feel about the pain of losing that connection. This is how feminine energy is navigating the unhealed karmic energy by saying, where's the feminine energy in separation keeping their focus on right now? Feminine energy is back open for business. Feminine energy is coming out of the rut. Feminine energy is saying, I am leaving myself available to commitment, solid offers of commitment, because feminine energy is recognizing now from the solution of identifying and saying, I did everything I could do. No regrets is what is allowing the feminine energy to move forward right now to help heal the unhealed karmic connection, i.e. potentially healing a lot of that unhealed karmic energy in the process. The beauty of the potential eclipse energy with the new moon in Libra. Cleaning, remember bottom of the barrel? Bringing up the muck so you can clean it out. This is how the feminine energy is doing it at this time. Masculine energy that is in separation right now, this is going to feel much more difficult, because this is potentially the opposite that is effectively occurring right now during this cycle. You have a focus right now on the object of your desire. You are seeing them. They are there. They are present. You know what you want to go after right now. The problem is there are hurdles. There are limitations. There are anxieties. There's confronting your own self right now, and the situations and circumstances at play that feel like they are blockages in order to do so. And this is, again, a masculine energy that is weighing whether they can go towards a feminine energy right now or not. Because for the masculine energy right now in separation, there is a point of understanding that they are recognizing, you are recognizing that if you are to move towards this energy that is your heart's desire, and this is where we see the two energies coming back into alignment, it has to be with something consistent. It has to be something different. It has to be something real. Emotional bandwidth is only going to get you so far. There's something here where you really would have to put something physical in front of this energy right now to let them know that you are coming towards them from a space or place of actual commitment. For the other part of the masculine energy right now, this is that moment that is going to feel like difficult because it is a point that is not necessarily something that you feel like you're healing, but almost like something you're moving away from, carrying the burden of fear, carrying the burden of disappointment, carrying the burden of not being able to truly express yourself. And even moving away from this right now is feeling like a struggle because, again, it is a weight right now in terms of looking at whether you are truly feeling like you're ready to commit yourself on that path. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Knight of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Wands. May I please have one card to clarify? Oh, Knight of Wands in its reversal. Listen, if you're trying to go up to a feminine energy right now from a point of passion, I'm just going to warn you, it's not going to work. If you're trying to do that, I'm just going to warn you, it's not going to work right now. Not happening. Why not? Okay, again, masculine and feminine energy right now that are in partnership. Again, this is that moment that the masculine energy is feeling some blockages. They're feeling some hurdles. They're feeling some points of frustration, even in partnership right now. Again, why? Because we identified that there were some situations or circumstances masculine wanted to move forward towards in some degree. Feminine either put the brakes on it or said that they weren't necessarily in alignment. Masculine energy is trying to match and meet the pace of the feminine right now. And there is something here, again, about some of the external energy right now that they're channeling into the practical space that is almost like a recalibration around some spaces and places that they would actually like to put their energy right now. It's feeling like a little bit of a struggle point because it could be feeling like a little bit of like channeling like passionate frustration into practical spaces right now for masculine in partnership. You may be doing things on the practical level right now where it's like you'd rather be doing them on the passionate one. You know what I mean? Is what we're really seeing. So this is feeling like a bit of a struggle point right now. Feminine, you could be effectively seeing this. It could be a point right now where you are recognizing that you are so busy in the practical space right now. And masculine is almost like finding busy work for themselves in the process that you're also recognizing it's making it hard to connect with the energy right now. But you've got a lot on your plate right now, feminine energy, if you're in partnership. So this is more of a point of like, trying to like push through to get to a point of easement so that you can have more time with the masculine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. Now, for masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership at this moment, it's got to be a real offer right now. It's got to be a real offer or nothing at all. This is a feminine energy that is now effectively sitting here and they're now pushing back. This is a feminine energy that if masculine tries to come towards them with just some like emotional wordplay or just from the space or place of the passion center, feminine energy is now going to resist it. Feminine energy is effectively saying to them like, no, absolutely not. Why? Because again, this is a feminine energy that is feeling the need and desire of recognizing what they truly want right now. This is a feminine energy that feels like they were extremely vulnerable to the masculine over the last few days that they're trying to come into partnership with. And this is feminine energy effectively saying to the masculine, the only way you can come towards me right now is if you're coming direct, if you're coming clear, if you're coming in a way that actually shows me that you're trying to come forward in a space and place that you're actually offering me something. What is the feminine looking for from the masculine right now? Commitment. And they need to see some tangible expression of that, or the feminine energy saying you can just go all the way over there. I'm going to keep you at bay. You just almost like saying like you're becoming one of the rest, one of many. Because feminine energy is effectively almost saying to the masculine right now, there are other opportunities available to me. Feminine knows what they want, and they're even pushing back against their own passionate drive towards some energy right now, and even their own emotional connection to some energy. To say, it doesn't matter if I feel a desire for you. It doesn't matter if I feel a deep emotional connection for you. Can you meet me? Can you meet me there? Or are you showing that this is, because the feminine is looking at this right now and being like, if the masculine isn't showing this ability or degree of coming forward in this tangible way, this is feminine energy trying to come into partnership, looking at masculine and saying, you're afraid. This is feminine looking at the masculine saying, you are too afraid of commitment. This is not something that I'm willing to tolerate right now. This is feminine energy choosing the commitment right now over how they feel. Focusing on the manifestation goal above their own unhealed karmic energy, which they're now processing by saying to themselves, I did everything I could do. Feminine energy yesterday went, I did everything I could do. I am washing my hands. You have to meet me here. If you can't meet me here in this way, then we are finished. This is now moving into the energy that we're seeing for the energy in separation right now. The feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now and the feminine energy trying to come that is in separation are pretty much in the same modality. They're both going, I'm washed my hands. I've done everything I can do. Even if they're feeling that trigger of the unhealed karmic energy rising to the surface right now, this is feminine energy going, back off. Absolutely not. I'm not letting myself feel this way. I'm not letting myself get caught in this. I did everything I could do. Masculine, you are potentially experiencing right now, again, a moment, either, again, in partnership. This is, again, this point where it's like practical matters above everything. Trying to come into partnership with feminine right now. This is effectively you recognizing that this is happening. You're potentially feeling this pushback now from feminine, that you're seeing and recognizing that this is a feminine that has opened up to you about what they desire. They've opened up to you about their heart space. This is that moment that you're like, I need to meet them there because there's no other way I can meet them. And again, the partnered energies right now and the separation are now back into the same modality. They're going right back into them. They're now in the same space, which is a masculine energy focusing either in separation towards the object of their desire or trying to come into partnership right now with the object of their desire. And they're trying to navigate if they can come forward towards them from a space and place of actual, tangible offer. Because they realize that the passion center or the emotional center, it needs to actually show something that they can hold in their hands. It needs to be some kind of identification of commitment at this time. Or this is a masculine, again, if in separation, coming into separation saying, this is a bridge too far. I can't do it. It's too hard. And thereby potentially moving away from a feminine right now, but feeling a lot of deep anxiety and fear because it's not where their heart's really leading them at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Seven of Wands in combination with our King of Swords reversed. May I please have one card? One moment. Clarification of these cards coming through right now with healing. We like to see this. Thank goodness, with some of the chaos that we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days, this is absolutely the card we want to see. There's going to be a moment of catharsis right now for masculine and feminine energy right now in partnership. There's some kind of moment right now that while the masculine energy may be feeling a little bit disempowered, it's okay. Because it feels like this is a battle that you guys are fighting together. Masculine, you're doing what you need to do for the part of the feminine. Feminine is working really hard on practical spaces and places right now. You're seeing the fact that the masculine energy may be feeling a little bit more disempowered today, but you are also kind of giving them that support, that care that they need. This could be a masculine energy that's not really feeling like up to doing much today because there is like a little bit of exhaustion coming through. But again, this is all healing. There's almost like some point of catharsis that's coming through today for the partnered energies as you find yourselves in this modality, just doing what needs to be done. Masculine and feminine energy right now, this is it. This is that moment if you're trying to come into partnership. There's an identification that's reached here, which is, again, it's not about the feelings that you have towards one another. It is looking at something and trying to identify if something can become healed. If there's something here that actually can be healing. Feminine energy is effectively looking at a masculine right now, and if the masculine isn't coming forward to them in this capacity, feminine is looking at this and saying, there isn't a partnership opportunity here. This is a moment that I need to concentrate on my healing. This is, again, either the feminine looking at masculine saying, I've opened up to you. I was vulnerable to you. And this is why we see the energy in partner trying to come into partnership right now and the energy in separation have come back into alignment, because this is a feminine energy that is washing their hands of something and saying, I did everything I could do. I fought as hard as I could. Masculine energy needs to meet me there, or they're showing me that they are too afraid to do so, in which case feminine is saying, I need to heal. I'm moving forward from a space that it hurts. Yes, it hurts. Feminine's identifying, again, either the energy and trying to come into partnership and separation are both saying it hurts to do it. but I will do it. Because feminine energy is recognizing their value and worth and saying that there is a limit that I will go to without the masculine energy showing me that they have the same confidence and the same bravery to match me in that endeavor. Masculine, again, even if you're trying to come into partnership right now, or if you're if you're in separation, this is the same energy right now. This is now coming back into alignment as well. This is looking towards the object of your desire right now, recognizing that there's going to be some changes that are required. It's going to require you to make some accommodations. It's going to require you to come forward in a more substantial way. Commitment is now the only path forward to a certain extent. And this is that moment that we are identifying that, again, the masculine energy is saying, is there something here to be able to come towards this feminine? Are they going to be able to have, are you going to be able to have the bravery to be able to heal your own heart space, recognizing that this path towards the feminine is the only accessible conduit that you feel is going to be the thing that restores your heart space, giving it that try, almost saying to yourself, I'd rather try and fail than not know if I could ever do it at all. Or if this is that moment that you're effectively saying, it's too difficult. There's too many things that are blocking this to happen. And feeling that point, it's going to feel much heavier here because this is a moment that you're feeling a lot of us feeling potentially of the weight and heaviness of your own feelings of insecurity in healing this that is requiring you to go into isolation to continue on your healing, because there's something about this right now where you're identifying and feeling like this feminine is available and accessible to you if you're willing to do this work. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our King of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Empress card. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Three of Wands in its upright. And we love seeing this right now for the masculine and the feminine energy right now that is in partnership. This is that moment that, again, feminine energy, masculine energy, there's some things right now that are effectively distracting you from the partnership itself, potentially putting a lot of space in place in the practical right now. Masculine may be feeling a little bit more of a frustration point at this point right now, because you may be putting some energy right now into trying to find busy work to help build away from some feelings or spaces right now that you're feeling frustrated on. This is like trying to find some points of distraction right now, like almost trying to find those spaces, because like, again, a lot of your focus is what you would rather be doing, but recognizing that this feminine has a lot of concentration on practical things that they're working on right now. How are you solving this? Masculine and feminine energy are, again, they're building that point of catharsis by looking to the future. You're putting the work in today so that you can have those points of easement as you go down the line. The partnership itself is feeling encouraged and enforced as they go through this right now. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership is now pretty much in the same space as the energy right now that is in separation. This is that make or break point, because we have a lot of this energy that's focusing back on some energy here, this object of the desire. Now, masculine energy, feminine energy right now is effectively at a point where this is this healing. This is almost like, I got to stress, in a way, this is beautiful, because in a way, this is feminine energy almost immediately coming into a space or place of healing the unhealed karmic connection, even as it is creating itself. Because this is a feminine energy that is giving a point of concession. It's giving a point of concession in terms of identifying right now the fact that the feminine is saying effectively, I have done everything that I can. This is a feminine energy that feels like they have been as vulnerable as possible to the masculine in some capacity. And this is the moment that the feminine is saying, there's a limit I will go to. I've matched that limit. This is either masculine is going to meet me there, or they're proving to me that they lack the confidence to do so. And in which case, what is feminine doing? Feminine energy is moving towards looking beyond this and saying, I am going to continue to seek the commitment that I know that I am deserving of. And again, it's difficult, it's painful. Feminine energy is moving into a healing journey immediately in the process, even as they were confronted with the unhealed karmic energy that is potentially caused right now by them separating in this capacity. Masculine energy right now that is moving right now, again, the energy trying to come into partnership right now, as well as the energy that is in separation. This is that moment that again, you have your focus on your heart's desire. You know what you want to move towards right now. You see it. This is a moment that the masculine is trying to decide, again, either with the masculine that is trying to come into partnership with feminine right now, or masculine that's in separation. Are you going to move towards this energy right now through your own fear, through your own anxiety? Because it is there's something here that feels like there's a struggle point. There's something here that while there's a drive to move towards this energy, it's taking a point of deep vulnerability to do so. Or are you turning away from that? Holding this, keeping your prospects moving towards the future. But this is going to feel very hard, we're seeing, for the unhealed karmic energy right now, because this is masculine effectively recognizing that to a certain capacity or degree, that it is their own limitation of fear right now that is potentially blocking or stopping them from making this effort or taking this step, as it were. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Hierophant in combination with our Knight of Wands in its reversal. So, masculine and feminine energy, and bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. May I please have one card to clarify? Masculine and feminine energy right now that is in partnership. This is the only thing that we're effectively seeing that's creating this hurdle or this blockage or this frustration point. There is a moment right now around anxiety as it relates to the long-term path ahead. There's a lot of encouragement. There's a lot of security right now in the present commitment that you're building. But there is some feeling right now of anxiety as to what that shape actually looks like in the long term right now. There could even be something that is occurring right now that masculine is feeling the weight of this in a way or shape that they're not necessarily articulating fully to the feminine. This could be identifying that in partnership energy right now, masculine may not be communicating something to feminine about their own doubts or fears. They could be doing this right now. They're leaning heavily on the commitment. But again, what have we been seeing with the masculine? This has been a bit of the masculine energy, not wanting to emotionally express some stuff to the feminine right now. White knuckling it, a little bit of that white knuckling still happening right now. But again, this is effectively the masculine choosing to carry this burden for the sake of the partnership. Feminine, you may be seeing this right now. The problem is right now in partnership, especially if you're in divine union, you may be identifying that the masculine energy is in this vibration right now, but you may also recognize why. You may be identifying and recognizing that there is something here about some shared fears that you're experiencing, but masculine doesn't feel like articulating upon them. Again, you're putting the energy and concentration into the power and the strength of the partnership to help you through any of those hurdles that may be coming forward in the future. While masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now, this is it. This is that part. This is the partnered energy is trying to come into partnership right now, and the energy is trying to come into separation. This is the same modality right now, okay? Because what we're really seeing is this fact that we are identifying that feminine energy is pushing away any masculine energy that is coming towards them in a way that feels like it is inconsistent or only based on the passion center. Again, it's not the fact that feminine doesn't feel a connection right now, an emotional connection, or even a passionate connection to energy. Feminine energy is just looking at it instead and saying like, yeah, I may desire this person. I may feel an incredible amount of desire for a person, but that desire isn't going to build a long-term connection. The desire, the connection cannot exist on desire alone for long-term future possibility. That's why feminine is going, I'll take commitment, thank you, regardless of how I feel right now, which is why the feminine, again, both in separation right now or trying to come into partnership is like, do you actually want partnership? Are you going to show it? Are you actually going to show it? Like, that's it. It's like this is the feminine washing their hands. Cycles closing during this eclipse season, new moon in Libra energy, cleaning it out. Everything's getting cleaned out. It's like a garage sale. It's like a karmic garage sale. Now, masculine energy, either, again, trying to come into partnership right now or in separation, this is effectively, again, the same line. This is masculine energy that you're recognizing that there's something here that you're feeling a passion blockage. This is a masculine energy that's feeling a huge point of frustration. You could be feeling very, very frustrated right now, masculine energy, if you're in separation or trying to come into partnership right now, because you're frustrated. You're frustrated in the center of your desire. Why are you frustrated in the center of your desire? Because feminine energy is saying, like, you have an object of desire that you would like to put that desire in. But the feminine energy is saying, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not going to allow you to come towards me just from a point of a mutual shared desire. There needs to be commitment here. And this is masculine feeling this point of frustration because, again, this is masculine that is effectively recognizing that the only way to come towards a feminine right now is from offering this level or degree of commitment in some way, shape, or form. Recognizing that it's either that or nothing. That the passion is not going to fuel the connection anymore. The desire isn't going to drive the connection. This needs to be commitment or nothing at all. Masculine, you're vacillating right now because, again, this is a moment where you're recognizing that you need to come towards the feminine in a much more committed way if you're going to have any viability. And that may be requiring you to have to make some adjustments and accommodations to your long-term plans and goals. Some of that adjustment that we saw that was effectively coming through as it relates to the masculine having to effectively come into a space or place of identifying whether they are ready to move into that long-term path, this long-term goal. This is masculine saying, like, I need to be able to, like, articulate to this feminine what I truly desire in the long term. That's effectively what the feminine's saying right now to the masculine. Show me what you actually want in the long term. It's going to be the access as to the commitment as to whether you're going to have something with me in the short term. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Knight of Wands and our Three of Swords in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Hermit card in its reversal. So, apologies. So, what are we seeing right now as it relates to the masculine and feminine energy? This is the point of frustration that we're effectively seeing right now. This is what we're really identifying that is creating a bit of that frustration point. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now. It's almost this feeling right now, again, there's a point where you may be feeling like you aren't having the time together that feels like it is truly valuable right now. It is a moment right now about the fact that for masculine and feminine, there may be so much care and attention that needs to be paid into practical spaces and places right now. That you may be feeling that while you may be together, while you guys may be together, you don't actually feel like you're getting that quality time, as it were, because you're both so busy on these other things. Masculine right now may be feeling, and could be a bit of a separation point that's effectively happening right now, that may be feeling a bit isolating for the feminine right now that is in partnership. Masculine energy is trying to, again, we've been seeing this throughout the week. Masculine energy has potentially wanted to carry the weight on something that they don't want to communicate to the feminine. And it's potentially making the feminine feel a bit more isolated because this is something the feminine would prefer to be open and available and expressive for. Feminine would prefer to express, emotionally emote what they're feeling. Masculine at this point is like, I want to heal like this. Like, I want to heal like this. I want to heal like inside here. And this is a masculine that may be feeling a bit of frustration right now because this is a bit of that disparity point with there's a feminine feeling a little isolated from the masculine, not sharing all of this with them, right? But again, potentially even recognizing that the feminine is encouraging or creating a space or place of building that like degree of ability of masculine to hold this for themselves, just articulating that they're there if they need them, but also not forcing it, but feeling a little isolated in the process. Masculine, you may be feeling this. But again, you are feeling the appreciation, the love and support of the feminine that's helping you go through it. And it's almost like potentially for the masculine and feminine partnership right now, just like masculine being like, I don't need to talk about it. I know you're here. Knowing that you're here and that when I'm ready to talk about something, that you will be here is all the support I need. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership now is the same exact energy as the separation. This is effectively it. Feminine energy, again, is pushing back on masculine regardless of whether they feel the passionate connection to them. It's not about passion right now, is what feminine's really saying. Feminine's saying passion is not going to build a future with someone. Moving from the point of passion may actually like spell disaster, because like if there isn't commitment there, it's not necessarily leading to something that feels like it can be sustainable in the long term. For masked feminine right now, the only problem with this is the fact that the feminine energy doesn't like to be in that point of isolation. This is healing. Feminine still feels desire for this energy, because it's not a question of desire. It's a question of whether the energy can be consistent, whether the energy is actually providing something that feels like it is actually a stable, consistent offer right now. This is why this feminine energy is now leaving themselves open to new opportunities and new possibilities, because now we've got that sweet spot that we're seeing with the feminine, which is feminine going, absolutely not. Even though I'm attracted to that, I'm not going to go towards that unless it's actually going to give me consistency, unless it's going to create commitment. But she's feeling lonely and she wants to heal. So this is a feminine energy that's now ready, becoming more eager to open themselves up to new opportunities, new offers coming towards them in this capacity. Masculine energy that is in separation or trying to come into partnership at this moment, because guess what? You guys are in the same boat now. This is masculine energy that you are feeling the passion blocker. You are feeling the passion blocker. It's not a question of what you want to go towards right now. You're feeling it. You see it. You know it. It's right there. That's what you want. Bing. You see it right there. The problem is it's not available to you. This is going to feel like a lot of frustrating energy right now if you are in separation, because again, you are feeling the frustration of being in isolation, being separated from this energy. And you're focusing, and you're also trying to heal your heart space. So this is a combination of the masculine right now, feeling the double weight of trying to heal the heart space while also feeling very, very blocked in the desire center. So again, this is either a masculine that is confirming and affirming to themselves that they're willing to go towards this feminine with a new direct offer, something that feels tangible, something that feels real. Or this is a masculine energy that is almost like forcing themselves right now, dragging their feet potentially away from this energy, forcing themselves to look at other offers and opportunities as an act of healing, because they themselves are again also feeling the frustration and isolation combined with their own frustration in the center of their desire. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Three of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Three of Wands. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Page of Swords. We love this. So again, masculine and feminine energy right now that is in partnership. This is going to feel like, again, a sense of empowerment. Whatever you're going through right now, even if it's difficult, it is reaffirming. It is reaffirming the commitment. It is almost allowing for immediate healing to happen in the partnership. So while there is something that may feel like a point of catharsis, this is something that like you're building and using this as like a ground to like lay those new opportunities, lay that path ahead, and you're re-encouraging each other. You're giving each other confidence as you continue forward on your healing journey together. We love seeing this for the energies in partnership right now. Even for the feminine, creating some space right now for masculine that may not necessarily want to articulate it on the same way or to the same degree that the feminine would ideally desire right now. Feminine energy in separation or trying to come into partnership right now. This is the same energy now. This is it. We're back to two, because this is feminine energy that, again, they've reached a point of concession. This is feminine energy washing their hands, saying, I did everything that I could do. This is now either a healing journey. They're watching, they're waiting, they're leaving the door open to a certain extent if the masculine is able to show up in this capacity, but they're not chasing after. They're not chasing after because they're just looking at the masculine if they're not coming forward right now, and they're seeing it as a point of weakness. And this is that moment that the feminine energy is saying, if the masculine isn't coming towards me with the same level of confidence that it took me to be vulnerable, then feminine saying, that's fine. I just need to heal. And I need to set my sights elsewhere. Masculine right now in separation, this is that moment as well. The problem with this is instead of looking towards a feminine right now and waiting for them to come forward, this is a feminine that you have your attention to. You see the fact that this energy is available to you right now. And this is the moment that you are effectively deciding, because there are blockages here in terms of moving towards this energy, potentially practical blockages, practical hurdles, adjustments you need to make in your own life at this time if you are even going to come forward in this way to the feminine. And this is the moment that we are seeing that the masculine right now is identifying whether this is a new course that you're going to set for yourself, if you're going to start making these accommodations to be able to do so. And it's going to feel like a bit of new work because this is new ground you're clearing. This is an adjustment to your own plans, recognizing and seeing what your heart's desire is. Or if this is something that you're laying your prospects forward, trying to heal your heart in the process, trying to turn your back away from your heart's desire right now, feeling like it's not accessible to you or it's not possible, or feeling the lack of confidence in trying right now, and effectively saying, I'm going to just try to move away from this and heal and try to turn my back on it, almost feeling like a point of distraction that you're trying to create for yourself at this moment to get your mind off of this energy. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our 10 of Cups in its reversal in combination with the Hermit. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our 3 of Cups. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now. This is effectively feeling some points of frustration right now. And again, potentially feeling some frustration as it relates to your own ability to be at a point of enjoying one another right now in partnership because of outside obligations. Feminine has outside obligations they're struggling with. Masculine's almost looking for busy work for themselves to get their mind off of some things that they don't feel like talking about. Right now, this is a moment of a momentary setbacks, blockages right now, utilizing just trying to find enjoyment where you can. Just trying to make these points of enjoyment as you can experience in them. Almost like building a feeling of just not putting off the joy that you want to have now for later. Just trying to grab it where you can. Potentially even again, feeling like there are some issues related right now. And I will stress that there may even be some issues right now related to potentially adjusting plans or needing to make accommodations to plans. But we see that these accommodations are being done easily. It's almost like creating a space or place. It's anything that feels like a setback right now. It's it'll be okay. We'll get through it. The strength of the partnership is the point of celebration. Almost like creating this feeling of c'est la vie as it relates to partnership energy right now, or energy that's in divine union, saying we're going to do everything we can. We're going to snatch the joy that we can in moments right now, even through some circumstances and situations that may feel like they are frightening, or they may feel like they are trying. And again, feeling some of that frustration in terms of not having those moments today, but feeling the security and knowing that they are present. There's something here that may need to be put a little bit off or on the shelf today, but that they're coming back into this sooner rather than later. And it's almost like that's what's creating this sense of optimism, even in the face of some difficult situations or scenarios or some accommodations that need to be made. Masculine and feminine energy that is in separation or trying to come into partnership right now. These are now the same aligned lines. Feminine right now. This is feminine energy getting out of their own head. Feminine energy has been bearing the weight over the last few days of the unhealed karmic connections. This is feminine energy reaching that point of catharsis, saying, I've done everything I can do. Feminine energy is looking at this and saying, I have no regrets, because feminine feels to a certain extent at this point with the unhealed energy, either from the past right now or the present. This is that point of catharsis of feminine saying, I did everything I could. I did everything I could. There's a limit to how far I will go. I'm going to concede. I'll recognize my own value and worth. And this is feminine energy saying, you know what? I'm going to go find something to keep to bring me into this sense of appreciation of self. This could be feminine right now, looking for some points or sources of delight today, just trying to create some of these plans for themselves, maybe even moving into a space of immediate elation and joy, something that they can really enjoy today to get their mind off of some of those setbacks or hurdles from places and spaces in the past that did not lead to the outcome that they effectively desired. This is feminine energy saying, forget it, putting on their coat, going out, finding those moments for themselves right now to help get their mind off of those disappointments that they may have been experiencing over the last few days. Feminine's, again, like not waiting for that energy. And feminine's also giving themselves a moment of confidence right now. And this is why the feminine energy is saying this, which is like, if they didn't want this from me, if this masculine was not able to meet me at this point, it's okay. Because there are going to be energies that do. Masculine energy right now, that is, and potentially even going out with other feminines is what I'm seeing here too. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. This is almost like that rallying cry of like doing this potentially and getting that encouragement from the energy around you as well. Masculine energy right now that's in separation or trying to come into partnership. This is it. This is it. This is that moment that we're effectively seeing right now, that we are identifying that the masculine energy right now is effectively looking towards feminine energy. And this is a moment that the masculine energy is potentially recognizing that the only way to come towards a feminine energy that they have their heart's desire on right now is if they make some recalibration to their immediate plans. There's something here where the masculine energy needs to review and assess what their long-term desired outcome is versus the immediate energy around them right now, to decide what do they need to adjust or accommodate for to be able to move towards this energy that is potentially their heart's desire at this point. Is the masculine energy ready to make those accommodations in their life at this time? Or is this feeling like a bridge too far? Is this feeling like this feminine energy is going to require too many changes, too many adjustments, not necessarily in alignment with what they had planned? That is why the potential masculine energy right now may be turning away from their heart's desire with a sense of sadness, with a sense of disappointment, because the masculine energy is recognizing right now that to come towards what they truly desire right now may take some level or degree of a sacrifice. Something needs to be sacrificed right now. Either the immediate energy around them at this moment, or that long-term possibility with this energy. This is that weight. This is that capacity. It's creating a moment right now that could be feeling like, again, either masculine energy is trying to come towards the feminine in this way to see if it's possible. Or this is masculine energy trying to distract themselves from their own feeling of disappointment, from their own feeling of dissatisfaction as it relates to what they are ideally aspiring for right now, which they feel is not necessarily in their grasp. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Hermit in its reversal in combination with our Page of Swords. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Nine of Swords. This is that distraction point. This is that heaviness. This is that burden. We are still in between eclipses. The last few days have been very heavy energy. There's been a lot. Feminine energy has been very, very vulnerable, feeling the full weight of a lot of unhealed karmic energy around them right now. Masculine, you've been balancing and asking yourself whether you can move towards the feminine energy, whether there's something here that's going to allow you to make that accommodation point, if there's a possibility of blending this energy with your life at this moment. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. This is that moment that you may be feeling like you're giving each other support through some circumstances and situations that feel like they are difficult. It's not that everything is easy peasy right now. There is some heavy stuff that is being navigated. Feminine energy is feeling a lot of that weight on a very practical perspective right now. Masculine's feeling a lot on the emotional level. The weight that the feminine's feeling right now is much more practical. Masculine's feeling it much more emotionally. Both are lending each other support in the categories that they need it in. Masculine energy needs emotional support right now. So what is feminine giving them? Emotional support. Feminine needs practical support right now. So what is masculine giving feminine? Practical support. The partnered energies, the energies in divine union, are empowering each other to help navigate each other's hurdles. This is the point where it's like not running away from problems, but coming to the aid of each other that is making you feel like you are not alone as you experience any of these setbacks and hurdles. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now or in separation. You're now in the same modality for now. Masculine and feminine. For feminine right now, this is that moment. This is painful. This is not easy for the feminine energy that is in separation or is trying to come into partnership right now, because this is a feminine energy that is effectively having to look potentially at their emotional connection with masculine and potentially their passionate connection with masculine, and effectively saying to themselves, that is not enough. That does not offer enough clarity. Moving in that direction towards a masculine is going to just lead to further heartbreak. This is why the feminine is effectively washing their hands of something, because feminine energy is trying to save themselves from a situation or circumstance that is already becoming too difficult to bear. This is not something that the feminine can do. The feminine cannot leave themselves open in this vibration of full love and openness and appreciation, full passion, while feeling the anxiety of a masculine that only is building a connection with them that feels like it's only from the point of passion, without the emotional connection or without the tangibility of what that commitment looks like. This is feminine saying it can't be done. And it's painful for the feminine to recognize that. But feminine energy is using it to empower themselves forward. Feminine energy is saying, I'm using this. I'm not going to let myself stay in isolation, feeling the pain of this. I'm going to get out there and find someone who is going to offer me these things and wants that commitment instead. This is the feminine energy moving back out, potentially. If the masculine doesn't come forward right now for this, feminine energy saying, I'm sorry, care about you, love you, desire you. Love is not enough. This is really what the feminine is saying to masculine right now. Feminine's just going, I love you. Love is not enough. Certainly not enough for a feminine that's not seeing the masculine match them in that vibration. Masculine, again, either in trying to come into partnership right now or in separation. You are potentially experiencing this right now on the part of the feminine. You are seeing that there is a feminine that is open, that is available to you, that you recognize has this passion for you. The problem has to do with all of the circumstantial and situational hurdles that are around you right now. And yes, potentially even some of the energy that's around you right now. Some of the energy around you right now could be a bit of a blocker from you coming towards the object of your desire at this point. And this is the moment that we are seeing with the masculine, that again, one of two different modalities that are coming into play. There may even be a feeling right now with the masculine that you're kind of recognizing something that feels a bit like you made your bed and now you're feeling very forced to lie in it. Because this is a moment right now that the masculine is carrying this weight on yourself at this point. And I have to stress that this is a masculine energy that is carrying this burden around positive energy. This could even be a masculine that is not a question of like other situations. This could have been masculine that may have gotten to this point by creating outside distractions for themselves and recognizing that the outside distractions aren't matching the connection that they have with a particular embodiment of feminine right now. The major question right now for the masculine is, what are you going to do in that modality? Because we also see that you're feeling a restlessness, an inability to carry this all on your own. You feel like you need to get out. The problem with the masculine energy that is feeling this right now in separation or trying to come into partnership, and this is where we see this, the bifurcation, it's either you saying, I can't do this anymore. I need to move back towards this energy. I need to do this no matter what. That's what I want. That is what I desire. Or this is a masculine energy continuing to bear the weight, to continuing to bear the burden of still desiring this energy, but continuing to distract themselves with other energy around them to help get their mind off of the fact that they desperately want to move back towards this energy. Final card for today's spread between our 3 of Cups in combination with our 9 of Swords. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. Oh my goodness. 9 of Wands. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is moving, that is in partnership. This is okay. This is okay. This is fine. You know, there's a moment right now that, again, masculine and feminine energy that is in partnership. It's not that everything is perfect. You guys are bearing some equal burdens right now. Feminine is bearing the burden of the tangibles, the practical spaces and places that they have a lot of anxiety towards right now. Masculine is bearing it on the emotional aspect in what they're bearing, like dealing with right now. You may be trying to feeling right now for both energies that you're trying to like give each other support where you can. Because more than anything, you are almost recognizing and seeing a point that feels a little frustrating, because while you're trying to like encourage each other, you realize that like there's something that you're both experiencing that feels a little hard for you to come into. Masculine is trying to help the feminine build that feeling of stability for themselves as much as possible, but feels that there's a limitation. Maybe even because the masculine was told by the feminine to back off on some things right now that they're trying to move forward with in their own way. Feminine, you may want to be there with emotional connection with masculine right now. Masculine's asking you to like back off a little bit. This is something that they need a little space on right now. So again, in the partnered energies right now, it's okay. You see and identify where you both are. You're just trying to give each other that point of empowerment and remind each other that you are not the source of those anxieties, of those doubts, of those fears. Masculine and feminine trying to come into partnership right now. This is going to feel a lot heavier. Because again, this is a feminine energy that is again either in separation or trying to come into partnership right now. But even the energy right now in partnership is washing their hands. They're very close to coming back into separation. If they're not seeing the masculine, meet them in this capacity. These energies are back into alignment now. Because again, this is a feminine energy that is feeling the weight, the sadness. This isn't something the feminine's happy about. Feminine would prefer a different outcome. But feminine is saying to themselves, I've done everything I can. And if the feminine now feels like they've done everything they can and they're not seeing the masculine match them, then the next thing the feminine needs to do is put up walls. Because now this is a feminine energy that is feeling hurt from a masculine that has not met them where they would aspire them to meet them. And instead, feminine energy is just trying to distract themselves from the fact that the feminine energy is now identifying that they are on a healing journey. And it's going to take some time, but they're going to continue to move forward in that vibration in terms of identifying what they feel is best for them at this time, while recognizing their own appreciation of the self. While masculine energy right now that is either, again, trying to move into partnership right now or in separation. You're in the same exact modality right now in both cases. We are seeing that this is a masculine energy. You are also feeling the weight of an unhealed karmic connection. Your eyes, your focus is on a manifestation of feminine right now that you want to move towards. The problem is there's some practical circumstances and situations in your own life right now that may be preventing you from doing so. You are now bearing the weight of that. You may even be feeling like now to a point of feeling some point of frustration for yourself, because you may be feeling like you kind of built this scenario around yourself that is now potentially feeling like you've painted yourself into a corner in terms of feeling separated from this energy. Because this is a moment that, again, it is a point that you are identifying or recognizing that this is either going to require you to effectively have to readjust your own present life, make accommodations, sacrifice, relinquish something in your immediate life to be able to come back into connection with this energy. Or this is a moment that, again, you are feeling this weight, you are feeling this heaviness, you are feeling this burden of wanting to be in connection with this energy. You are trying to distract yourself with outside energy that is around you right now. But it's not necessarily working the way it was. This may even be a moment, and this is maybe what's so difficult right now for the masculine energy going through this right now, is the fact that you may identify and recognize that the reason that this energy is separated from you in the first place is because you did this already. That the reason that there's a blocker between you coming back towards this energy that is the focal point is because you may have already previously created distraction points, and the distraction points are now standing in the way of you coming back in connection with this energy. And it's almost preventing you from finding that joy and going towards the distraction points, because you're recognizing and feeling like the distraction points are just that. They are distraction points. They are not what your heart's desire is. And it's not fixing it. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now is communication. Communication. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now. This could be having more hurdles and difficulties as it relates to plans. There could be something that is happening right now in partnership that is making planning difficult or a hurdle. It's making it hard to set that long-term path going forward right now. There's a lot of recalibration as it requires potentially even having to make some accommodations to plans right now that may be creating some points of frustration in the energy that is in divine union and partnership at this moment. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership. The problem right now for feminine is that this is not a case where the feminine doesn't want to communicate to masculine. This is a feminine that would love nothing more than to communicate with this masculine energy. But again, this is a feminine energy that is almost forcing themselves to stop communication right now because they are assessing and feeling like they have done everything that they can do, and they need to see the masculine return it in kind. This is a feminine energy that is forcing themselves not to contact the masculine right now, saying that would be a bridge too far. Feminine energy is holding their own boundaries in terms of feeling their own sense of value versus what they're willing to do as it relates to coming into contact with masculine right now. Masculine, either feminine energy trying to come into partnership right now or in separation, same modality. This is not a feminine that is eager or willing right now to continue to reach out if they're not getting it back in kind, because this is a feminine that feels like they already said everything that they needed to say. Feminine energy feels like they put their heart on the table, and masculine's just letting it sit there. Masculine energy right now, the hurdle and the situation right now, if you are either in separation or trying to come into partnership, is the fact that you already have not communicated. You may be feeling right now, you may already be feeling like this energy is moving into separation. You may even be wondering right now if it's too late, because we're articulating. We saw the fact that there was a point of uncertainty. You didn't communicate when you wanted to communicate. You weren't sure what you wanted. Masculine, you're starting to know what you want right now. But the problem is, this is a moment that you're almost, again, especially if you used a moment when you should have moved towards feminine as instead a point of creating distraction for yourself. You may now be feeling like, again, you are either looking at this at a moment right now where there's a feminine that you want to move towards right now, but there's immediately too many practical hurdles, too many things you have to explain, too many accommodations you need to make. Makes it almost impossible because you're almost scared of the conversation that this opening would elicit. You're almost anticipating it before it occurs. You recognize what the feminine energy is asking from you. And this is either a masculine energy that is feeling a lack of confidence in terms of explaining yourself at this moment, articulating, coming forward in this way, because you know what the feminine wants. Or this is a masculine energy that we're seeing is now kind of feeling the full weight of the fact that there was a lapse in communication. There was a lapse in communication as the masculine energy tried to distract themselves with outside energy. That even now there's a point, it's almost like this cycle. It's like a ball rolling down the hill, which is why the masculine energy right now in separation, you're potentially feeling this weight in terms of what to do next, because you're almost creating a space or place right now where it's you may have even done this in the past, where it's you build the separation point, you try to find diversions, you try to find distractions, And instead, it just leaves for more that needs to be explained, more that needs to be accounted for, more that needs to be articulated. And it's like almost this point that you keep returning to, where you're weighing the weight of what you would have to explain to this energy as it relates to your delay, versus continuing to try to distract yourself from moving towards this energy. So this is almost going to feel like, it's giving me like this is like a snowball effect that you may be feeling right now, masculine, if you're in separation or trying to come into partnership at this moment and you're delaying conversation. You're potentially either witnessing that this is happening right now, or you're feeling like this could have been something that's been happening over the last few months. This is like the combined effort of something that you've been holding back and holding back and holding back on, and it's not going away. It's just getting worse. It's just getting bigger, and it's not getting affected or changed, built on the distraction points. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, and then you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Please keep in mind, when you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, and then you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never inbox you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for having this reading with me today, and we will do this again tomorrow. Guys, that was the collective read.